Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first ever episode of Artificial Entertainment. I'm one of your hosts, Josh Lakaitis. My other hosts are Tyler Yaney.
Hi.
And Mason Betterly.
Hi, I'm making the music.
We don't have a theme song yet.
We're working on it.
And I think my audio is already peaking. But here we go.
Woo.
I have not begun to peak.
That's good. You never want to peak in your first episode. Well, I guess I should introduce what this podcast is. This is a podcast where we pick a theme and then we give each other terrible movies based on that theme. This week's theme was the first movie you ever realized was bad. So it was really specific, not a broad stroke there. But before we get into that, we'd like to talk about the news. And Mason has a name he'd like to call the news.
We're the culture vultures.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not for this. It sounds corny. But my suggestion was popping in on pop culture. So
that's much worse.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Pop culture vultures.
I have something I think we can bring in the news with.
Oh, please. Do you remember how the world ended on Saturday, first of all?
Shh, you're dating our first episode. People will know that we don't edit this
It'll
very
give
quickly.
it context. It's interesting.
All right, go ahead. You know,
That's all I had.
You know, I meant movie
You do
news,
you.
right? And not like just news in the world.
You did not make that specific. I have a whole list of stuff we can't talk about anymore. All right.
Okay, so what is everyone's favorite show on Cartoon Network?
Ooh.
I
Steven
don't
Universe.
have one anymore.
Oh.
All right.
Wait. Does Adult Swim count? Or just...
No. I am Cartoon Network proper.
Okay. No, yeah, I'm going Steven Universe because it's still great. I am behind on it, but I love it.
Okay, all right. No, it's a great show. I just got the art book for it. But
Oh, no way. That's
yeah,
awesome.
it's so good. It's so good. But guess which Cartoon Network show is getting a movie?
Oh, I heard about this. Yep.
Teen
Oh,
Titans
yeah.
Go, the movie, confirmed for
Oh,
July 27th,
no.
2018.
Now, this takes place in a different subsection of the DCEU, I've heard.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. DC's throwing everything at the wall, seeing what sticks. And somehow this show has stuck. Like, it's been around.
I have to ask, who is watching this?
Children? You know, the people...
Children, yeah?
The people the channel's actually directed at.
No.
Not a bunch of angry college kids.
Yeah.
They should know their audience by now.
So, yeah, that's happening.
Kids don't know what they want.
But Tyler, this will probably be the only 2D animated film next year.
Oh, great. I'm so happy to live
No,
in
I
America.
guess the My Little Pony movie is coming out. I
Yeah,
think it's next year.
Teen Titans Go is the second in the mediocre Tara Strong cartoon cinematic universe.
the My Little Pony movie actually comes out on October 6th. So
Are we
that is
sponsored by
this
My Little Pony the movie? Why are we plugging this?
No, I'm not. I'm just saying because I
so
saw a poster for it at the movie theater yesterday.
That movie comes out in like a week.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Okay.
Oh,
Is
not
that
that
a
we're dating
wide
our
release?
episode.
I don't know. I'm not following the news on that movie.
It is a wide release.
Oh no.
The Bronies will love it because they're
No, I
still
remember
around.
bronies were a thing like 5 years ago. I haven't heard a thing about them since.
Oh yeah, no.
They've been in hibernation, waiting.
Waiting.
So yeah, Teen Titans Go will be the only 2D animated movie next year, Tyler. Are you going to go out and support it?
No. I'm sad.
Well, there's always hope. Here's some good news for entertainment. Seth MacFarlane's live-action Flintstones TV show.
No, it was never live action.
Oh,
It was
wasn't
just
it?
his crappy animation.
Oh, okay. Well, it's not happening anymore.
I thought that got canceled a long time ago, so when I read that news, I'm like, huh.
Let's hang on to thoughts on that for a little later on because I have something that kind of ties into that with my film.
McFarlane or the Flintstones? Oh no, yeah, because you got. Yep, never mind.
Yep,
I
yep,
got you. No
yep.
spoilers yet.
Yeah.
And
Are
let's
you
see.
doing the Jetsons movie? Starring Tiffany.
The only other piece of news, let's see, I guess the Isle of Dogs trailer came out, which
My gosh.
it looks wonderful, of course.
Yeah, that
Do you guys
actually
think?
does.
What do you think it'll be rated? Because I was wondering that watching it. Because I heard rumors it was going to be R.
That would be interesting.
I mean,
But based
think
on that trailer, it looks like it could be a PG. I don't know.
I think PG-13 is just a safe bet. But I mean, with Anderson, it could be anything.
Yeah.
That is true. That is very true.
I'm not sure who the film's directed at yet.
Hipsters
Yeah.
Well,
and first-year film students.
The last piece of news I have is, of course, the Maze Runner sequel, The Death Cure.
yes.
The what?
Yeah.
They're making a sequel to The Maze Runner. Of course, we all remember The Maze Runner.
No, we don't.
Is that one of them Divergents? I thought that got canned.
No, it's not. It's in the same vein of trying to capitalize on the Hunger Games, but
You mean the movie that came out 3 years ago and then it was over?
here's the
Yeah.
thing, though. Like when this
Is it 2
trailer
years
first
ago?
came out, I thought this is late. The first Maze Runner was 4 years ago. Why'd they wait this long to do a sequel? But then it hit me. That's normal length, for a sequel before like the MCU and everything started coming out.
Wait, hold up. Is it? I thought there was a second one already.
I have no idea.
It
I'm
was
pretty
the
sure.
something. It was the Scorch
That
Trials.
whole
That's what it was.
genre is so tired, I think.
Wait, was there a second Maze
There was
Runner?
a second one. This is a third movie.
This is a third one?
I totally thought this was the second one. No way.
No. Yeah.
Oh my
wow.
gosh. That's
Oh, wow.
hysterical. All right, so I was misinformed on that entirely. I'm glad I didn't tweet my thoughts about it.
Well, but I thought that series was gone because you don't really see those kind of movies anymore.
I think Fox had half of it made before all those Hunger Games ripoffs fizzled out. So they're like, whatever, throw it into theaters.
Yeah, there's supposed to be one last Divergent movie, but it's going to be like a made-for-TV movie.
Yeah, with all the actors from the other movies being like, yeah, nope.
Okay, so yeah, no, it is in fact the third Maze Runner. All right.
Wow.
Is a fourth one planned?
I have
In,
no clue.
9
I'm sure
years?
there
I
is.
don't
They-
know.
Why not?
They tend to, I don't know, yeah, because I would say, trilogies are nice, solid numbers to do movies in, but if they're following the Hunger Games, they gotta go 4.
Yeah.
And I have no
Well,
clue.
and the last ones have to be a part 1 and part 2.
Exactly. And I have no clue if the Maze Runner book series, I don't know how many books are in that. But, so I think that's the news.
Yeah.
Ooh. Can I plug one thing where we're talking about recent stuff?
Sure, go for it.
And I'm only gonna plug this because I hate plugging things, but I know no one else is gonna plug it, so here we go. So, the Warner Archive, which does made-to-order DVDs of I don't want to say Warner's lesser material, but not the stuff that's gonna be flying off the shelves,
Mm-hmm.
has just released the first 101 Porky Pig cartoons, beautifully restored, $40. I want to keep seeing Warner cartoons on DVD, and I think this is a great way to do it. So, if you're a fan of animation, please go check that out, purchase it, because
So are Bugs and Daffy anywhere on the DVD, or is it just Porky?
Bugs has a cameo in one of the later ones, and Daffy's in a couple of them. In fact,
Okay.
Daffy's first cartoon, Porky's Duck Hunt from 1937, which was a Tex Avery cartoon, is on
Mhm.
there.
There is a Porky the Pig cartoon where he gets a tour of the Warner Brothers lot, and it's a mix of animation and live action, and Daffy's messing
No,
with him.
that's You Ought to Be in Pictures, which I believe is 1940, I want to say, and that has Porky and Daffy. And they shot all the live action footage for that on a silent camera, so Mel Blanc still does all the voices, even for the live action people, which is
Nice.
hilarious.
Is that on the DVD, or is that later?
Yeah. And also, because I'm a nerd, you can find that on the Looney Tunes Golden Collection Volume 2. That cartoon's on there.
Okay. I will definitely want to check that out then.
Out of
Mhm.
curiosity, while we're talking about it though, who is your favorite Looney Tune character, both of you?
Oh, Bugs, totally.
Really? Okay.
I've always loved Daffy, and I always will. I've had to pick because there's kind of two Daffys. There's the wacky 40s and 30s Daffy, and then there's the kind of greedy Daffy that Chuck Jones kind of made popular in the 50s.
Mhm.
I like them both, but I prefer wacky Daffy because he's kind of like messing
Yeah.
with Porky.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you got to say those close together since they rhyme so much. You got to say Wacky Daffy.
Yeah, you gotta.
Wacky Daffy.
Yeah, no, Tyler's is much more in depth. I just like Bugs because he's kind of like Groucho for the most part.
I mean, I know way too much about this, but there's Bugs kind of comes more chill and kind of reacts to things in the later years, but in the early cartoons, he's just kind of messing with Elmer and other characters just cause.
Right, yep.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite, Mace?
Mine is mine's Daffy as well, and I would agree with Tyler. I think I have more fun enjoying the wacky Daffy from the 30s and 40s, more so than the more modern greedy Daffy.
Yeah.
I think, and I still enjoy Daffy. You know, as he gets turns to the greedy type. But I think that I don't know. There's something very different about that Daffy. So I think the distinction between wacky and greedy is very apt.
Okay, yeah.
It's weird in the in all the modern in our adaptions of them, they try to mix both of them,
Mm-hmm.
and like it kind of works in Back in Action. Like it kind of lean more towards greedy, but it'll still do the hoo-hoo thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Space Jam's just terrible. It's unrelated, but I just wanted to throw that out there.
Got to make sure that goes in every episode.
I'm fine with that.
I honestly, okay, we're getting off subject, but I love
Yeah.
when they pair Porky and Sylvester. I think that's such a wonderful combination that isn't in a lot of the cartoons.
Yeah, you don't really see that too much.
And I
I
think
believe that was only a Chuck Jones trilogy of kind of spooky cartoons of them.
yeah, it's
They
Sylvester
go to a
trying
haunted
to
house
save Porky.
twice, and then they get abducted by aliens once.
See, I've only seen one of them, but it's got my favorite image of Looney Tunes of just Sylvester standing in a window as the sun rises, holding a rifle. I think that's some of the most funny imagery Looney Tunes
Oh
has.
yeah.
Yes.
I know it was my cover photo on Facebook for a bit, but yeah, I
No,
really
yeah,
loved
I
it.
remember that.
All right, so do you want to get into the meat of this podcast?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I think we'll go left to right as we appear in the logo, unless Tyler, you want to go second. I'm all for going last.
Nah, I'll go last.
All right, then we'll start off with Mason.
Okay.
Again, the theme this week was the first movie you ever realized was bad. So we all grew up as kids thinking movies are great, movies are wonderful. You can't make a bad movie. And all of a sudden, we reach an age and we see a movie where we realize, oh no, movies can be terrible. So we've picked for each other the first movie we ever saw. We're like, this is horrible. And Mason, what were you given?
I was given a film by Mr. Tyler Yaney. Some of you will remember this film, the 2002 Scooby-Doo movie.
So Tyler, why did you give this one to Mason?
I think this was the first movie I saw in a theater that I regretted seeing it in a theater. Because for me, going to the movies was like the greatest thing ever, and my grandparents would take me all the time, and I like looked forward to it. And it was a magical thing, and I was never disappointed. And then we saw this, and I was like, "Oh no!"
I can't believe how similar my story is to that, but I'll share
Because
that later.
I'm a people pleaser. Like I knew my grandparents just threw a bunch of money at this, buying me popcorn and candy and things, and just the disappointment of all three of us walking out of the theater. Like nobody enjoyed that. I just wasted their money. What's wrong with me?
You're just like stealing my story for later, but yeah, no, I understand that.
Yeah, no. I think now that I know of what it was trying to be, and who and how it's kind of the evolution of James Gunn's career, I kind of give it a pass. But at the time, like I didn't understand what they were trying to do, because like half the time they're trying to make fun and kind of poke fun at the series, but the other half is just awful juvenile humor.
Well, we'll break it down as we go along. So, Mason, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, so Scooby-Doo. I'm guessing a lot of our listeners probably saw this because the film, was pretty big when it came out, as I recall. Some of you may not know this, but the screenplay was actually written by James Gunn.
Both live-action movies were written by James Gunn.
Both this and Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed were both written by James Gunn, who is now the director of both of the Guardians of the Galaxy films, which are two of my favorite films of all time. So I went in, because I haven't seen the film in years, went in thinking, I was like, you know what, it's probably going to hold up. I mean, it's James Gunn. It did not hold up. Did not. And I remember not hating the film, but I remember just because I really I enjoyed Scooby-Doo the cartoon growing up.
Oh yeah,
but
that's some of the first
I've
TV
always been
I can remember watching. I'd always watch it. Like my favorite episodes is when Scooby-Doo would team up with the Globetrotters.
Oh my gosh, no!
I think that happened twice.
It did, and those were it was because I was homeschooled, and those were always on when I'd go to lunch. It was Scooby-Doo meets the Globetrotters, or Batman, or the Three Stooges.
Yeah.
I remember they met like Laurel and Hardy, and I'm like, I have no clue who these people are.
Yeah. So, just as a refresher for people who haven't seen it in a while, you lucky people. So the film starts with a classic sort of setup, and it kind of goes awry, but they save the day, and they're all very selfish and focused on themselves, with the exception being Scooby, of course, and Shaggy. And I want to take a minute and just say, if there's one person who I think really knocks it out of the park in this film, it's Matthew Lillard playing Shaggy.
Mm-hmm.
I think he really embodies the character very well. The only other person I think who might get that distinction would be Linda Cardinelli playing Velma. I think she also does a great job, but Freddie Prinze Jr. and Sarah Michelle Gellar playing... No, Buffy. I can't stand either of them. I cannot stand either of them. They are horribly casted. I think... I keep looking at the film trying to think of like where did things kind of go wrong, because I mean James Gunn, and I've heard stories that his original draft for this film was actually very much a little more adult, a little more tongue-in-cheek.
Right, and Shaggy's actually a stoner instead of it being just implied.
Yeah, and there's hints between Daphne and Velma, which
because that was always in the cartoon series.
There's always been that in the pop culture, like in that pop culture spectrum between them.
Well, yeah, you go on DeviantArt, there's plenty of stuff like that.
Well, this was before DeviantArt, it may not have been, but early days of DeviantArt.
Not in the hearts of man.
But in any case, I think what might have been the problem was Warner Brothers is kind of how I've made it in my head, that they kind of stepped in and we're like, listen.
Are you saying Warner Brothers screwed up a big name product movie?
Oh my gosh, imagine it. Imagine Warner Brothers stepping in, taking away artist integrity, and making a big pile of meh. It's amazing that the Suicide Squad do it. Yeah, no, this was kind of patient zero of that. And
ooh, what a rough reference.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, they split apart for 2 years, and then they get an invitation to Spooky Island. They all reunite. Crazy stuff's happening with like the students who are going to this resort island, or all crazy rowdy.
Can I just point out the one funny part of the movie I remember?
What?
Is that little like short instructional video? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Wait, what is this short instruction video? I don't remember that.
they come across this instruction video in this old abandoned attraction on Spooky Island where it sort of brainwashes the students to how to act, and it's very, 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 very dated. And so like they do it, and this one kid bumps into another, and the guy's like, "Oh, sorry, dog," and the guy like smashes his glass, like, "I will destroy you." That's not how to react. Let's try that again. Boom. "Oh, sorry, dog." No biggie, dog. Did you check the new Shizao on the box? Yeah, for real, word. And it was terrible. It was horrible, and it made me cringe. It is such a cringy movie. Now.
Tell our audience, whose talent do they waste in this movie?
Oh, I remember this.
Everyone's? Oh, Rowan Atkinson.
Yeah.
Rowan Atkinson, because I don't understand why he's there. There are 25 other actors that I think could have been in that role much better and much more fitting to the Scooby-Doo feel, and I just don't get that. I don't get...
Yeah, as I recall, he just doesn't do anything in the movie.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't until the twist at the end, which I'm not going to spoil, even though the film came out.
We'll spoil it when we get towards the end. We'll spoil it when we get towards the end.
So anyway, they're going through, and these monsters suddenly appear on the island. There's no build-up to them. There's nothing. The plot makes no sense how to introduce these monsters.
But it's peak early 2000 CGI, right?
It's bad.
It is the worst CGI. They manage a little bit on Scoob, who looks like Marmaduke, frankly. But
Marmaduke looks like Scoob.
Yeah, the monsters look terrible. And there's no build-up to their reveal. It's just they walk into the shot and like, oh, there are monsters in this. Well, that's... stupid.
I don't know what Nintendo 64 game they stole them from, but they look awful. Like, it is some of the worst
they're Crash Bandicoot
designs.
villains. That's what they look like.
The creature design on them is terrible, frankly, and I don't.
Absolutely.
They come out of nowhere. They look terrible. It's awful. It is awful, and there's so many better ways. Even if they looked as stupid as they do, you could have built it up a little bit more. But they lead Scooby into the woods to a bag of hamburgers or hamburgers. Because I think the thing about Scooby-Doo is,
right there.
Yeah, the thing about Scooby-Doo is you can really only entertain his voice for probably a 22-minute episode. After that, it becomes grating and it's stupid.
At least it's not Astro. I remember Astro from the Jetsons being a lot worse than Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, that's true. But anyway, story goes on.
Like if the Scooby-Doo actor just wasn't trying in the studio that day.
Yeah. Yeah. So, story goes on, the mystery things, but not really mystery things. It's not really a detective movie. They don't do any detective. They putz around and, like, idiotically walk into clues.
It's like they dropped the Scooby-Doo gang into a haunted beach movie, almost.
Yeah, it's like... No, it's like they dropped them into Scary Movie. It's like they dropped the Scooby-Doo gang into Scary Movie, and it's just... poorly executed in every way. Anyway, plot goes on. There's weird things, and
doesn't Shaggy have like a love interest in this?
Yes, named Mary Jane, because of course he does.
No. As a kid, I didn't get it. I'm sitting there going,
I didn't either.
Why Shaggy dating Peter Parker's girl? And that's not Kristen Dunst from the Spider-Man movies. What's going? I don't get the joke.
Yeah, well, now we do. But I think that in and of itself is kind of, like, funny, but it's like, okay, you didn't need to do that, but all right. And that's another thing that kind of annoys me with it, is because at the very end, everyone ends up with someone. There's, like, a guy that Velma talks to out of nowhere for, like, 2 minutes for a flashback, to literally serve the purpose of a flashback sequence that sets up the big reveal at the end. And they end up kissing at the end, or together at the end. And then Mary Jane and Shaggy, they're together at the end. And suddenly out of nowhere, Daphne and Fred are kiss at the end. I'm like, why? But there's even more hinting between Velma and Fred. So, like, even at that, it makes no sense. Because that would have kind of been a nice little twist.
All these relationships last into the second one.
Yeah, no. Oh, yeah, sure.
Wait, are you saying that wasn't Seth Green in the first movie?
No, he was in the second one.
Oh, no, it wasn't. No, yeah, he only comes in the second one.
Right, I'm kidding.
You're kidding, I know. But yeah, they come out of nowhere. But here's it actually, that has to do with my biggest problem with the film. For the whole chunk of the movie, Shaggy, yeah, Scooby, but Shaggy, because he's the human element of it, was working so hard to keep the group together. Hey, at least we still have each other, Scoob. We still have each other. They wait for 2 years, and, they're still together than the rest of the gang, and he pushes, and he's pushing so hard. Finally, he's with Mary Jane, and that relationship comes into conflict between his relationship with Scooby, and because you find out that that Mary Jane's taken over by one of the monsters, is possessed or whatever. So he's trying to be like, no, Scoob, or no, Shaggy, like tries to scare her off, bark her off, and they start fighting, and that could actually be the crux of the emotional core of the movie, where, oh, the two people that you thought would never fight, never, fall apart, they reach their limit over something like this. But then it delves into, your mom eats cat poop. That's literally a line, when this should be the emotional core of the film.
Oh boy.
And it turns into a farce. And it could have been it could have had heart, because I feel like it was working on that with Shaggy, at least. And it kind of just is like, well, no, that's too much for kids. Even though crap like a Goofy movie could handle stuff that's really deep like that. No, we can't go there. Your mom eats cat poop and you have to fake fisticuffs. No, that you could have actually had something with meaning there. But yeah, so
how does it end?
Long story short,
the worst part of the movie by far. They
save the day. They save the day through hijinks, not actual detecting. And come to find out, they take the mask off of Mr. Montevarious, who is Rowan Atkinson's character, who owns Spooky Island, and it's a robot. And the robot opens up, and it's Scrappy Dappy Doo. And in a better movie,
so betrayed when that happened. Yeah. Just what?
Yeah, it was the first time I was angry at a theater as a little kid, which was weird.
Yeah, but I think in a better movie it would have worked if they set it up better, but they just make him a jerk from the beginning. There could have been something there, but it's not executed nearly as well as it should.
Yeah, as
it's not even on the
going
map.
in and seeing this movie, I'm thinking, well, that's not Scrappy's character, because in the flashback, we see that the whole gang hates Scrappy. He's really annoying. He pees on, I believe, Daphne?
He pees on Daphne because let's do that.
And then they just kick him out of the mystery van on the side of the road, and he makes a Powerpuff Girls reference, because Cartoon Network, and we move on.
He makes a Powerpuff Girls reference?
Yeah, he does make a Powerpuff Girls reference.
It's random.
But I just that was never Scrappy's character. He was never a jerk.
He was not a fan of the Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah, but he was, yeah. I mean, you didn't need him in the movie at all, but yeah,
no,
it's just kind of all falls apart.
Is that he turns into a giant Hulk monster, and by then you're just
he does.
I forgot about
the
that.
supernatural element, and he becomes a super mutant dog. Then they have to defeat him like that,
and the
it's
CGI
boss level
manages
or whatever.
to get worse.
Yeah, the CGI does get worse, and then they defeat him. He shrinks back down, and the gang's back together, and everyone starts making out. It's weird
that Batman Arkham Asylum steals their ending from the Scooby-Doo movie.
Scrappy Doo turns into a giant monster?
Yeah, because Joker takes the Bane Venom and turns into a hulking monster to take on Batman, and it looks a lot worse than it did at the beginning. They totally just ripped off the Scooby-Doo movie.
Oh my gosh.
Well, it's both Warner Brothers, so.
Oh, the connections. The plot thickens.
Yeah, layers. You're blowing my mind, man. But yeah, so what I got out of this, and this is kind of what goes into the Flintstones thing. I think Warner Brothers or whoever's in charge, Hanna-Barbera, whatever, they need to stop making Scooby-Doo and those things for kids. I think they need to. I think that market's gone for them. And I think people our age who grew up watching the cartoons on Boomerang, or when they were still in syndication on Cartoon Network before they took them off, and the older generations, of course, I think that's their market now. And I think Scooby-Doo, just for the sake of what I'm saying here, Scooby-Doo needs to grow up with with us if they want to continue that brand, that
you're
franchise.
saying we shouldn't go back to a pup named Scooby-Doo.
Absolutely
That was quality,
not.
man.
Yeah,
I honestly did enjoy a pup named Scooby-Doo.
Mason, if I could just disagree with you there, do you know what the two most consistently popular and rebooted cartoons are? Scooby-Doo and Tom and Jerry. They're still going, and kids still watch them.
But the quality has
No
consistently
one's
gotten
arguing
down.
with you there, but as long as those two continue to be moneymakers, Warner Brothers will keep shelling them out. So I wouldn't look for that. I think Warner Brothers
But I
has
think
already
there are
announced
so
a new
many other
Scooby-Doo
brands. I think I know they're working on another one, but I think there's so many other brands there that take precedence in the mind of a kid.
Mm-hmm.
There really isn't that much of a market for, like, there aren't that many kids who are crazy about Scooby-Doo anymore.
Maybe you're
Do
right.
you
I remember when
Scooby-Doo and the gang were all puppets.
No, that's no,
That-
I
I
don't.
th-
I
Yep,
don't,
they-
and I
they-
wouldn't remember. I
They
wouldn't
brought
count it. I
back
might
a
have blocked
pup
that out.
named Scooby-Doo, and then they were all puppets. And I don't know if they had their own show, but I think they made their own TV movie.
Did they call it a puppet named Scooby-Doo?
Oh my gosh.
It would have been slightly better had they did.
What a missed opportunity.
So I think if you want to go see a good Scooby-Doo movie, there were two animated movies made. I forget what they're called. I think it's
Yes.
Zooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo on. I was literally about to say this. Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island is the ideal Scooby-Doo movie.
It's pretty great.
And isn't there one with they're like there's the Book of the Witch or something?
Yeah, the
like that?
Witch's Ghost
Something
is
like
quality.
that. I haven't seen that
Yep.
one, but
Tim
I did
Curry's in
see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I saw
really?
that at my grandparents' house, and I did not want to go to bed because that was legitimately scary.
No, both of those are.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island is an animated feature, and it's fantastic because it does the whole thing where that the Scooby-Doo like the live action one does, where this time the monsters are real, but it does it 10 times better because there's build up.
Aren't they like cat
and
people? It's been a while.
No,
No.
there are cat people towards
That's
the end,
what I'm
but there's
thinking of.
zombies
Okay.
up front. Yeah, there's zombies, and
Did
it's
they meet
but
Josie
they
and the
build.
Pussycats? Is that the
That
show?
happened
No,
once.
seriously. No, I'm trying to. Seriously, there's build up. There's the build up of the mythos. There's this atmosphere, and you have the beginning where they're doing the traditional shtick, of unmasking the people, but then they get out in this scenario I think it's in Louisiana, and it's just. It really, it actually is scary, but it stays true to Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, that should have gone to theaters, not that stupid movie.
Yeah,
As I recall,
honestly.
there's a point where the switch flips, and they go to unmask the monster, but it's a real zombie, and the head just comes off.
But
Yeah,
a family picture.
I just remember like,
think about that.
My gosh, no!
Yeah. But think about that. You had that in an animated kids film that went direct to VHS at the time, and that was more like I don't know. I think that was a better product than
Totally.
what they probably sunk millions into. I don't have the facts in front of me right now, but I know they sunk in millions to the live action Scooby-Doo film.
You gotta go
and
to
its
Watch
sequel.
Mojo. No, not Watch. BoxOfficeMojo.com.
Again, we are not plugging anything. This is.
We can talk about things in our lives and
No, I
not be
know
plugging
that.
them, Tyler.
I'm just letting them know if Box Office Mojo wants to pay us, go for it.
Oh yeah, no, we will. We are definitely a podcast that will accept ads.
I'm not saying we're
All right.
opposed to plugging things. I'm just saying we're not being paid to plug things presently.
We're too small podcasts to have ads right now, so just sit here and enjoy our ad-free voices. All right, so we don't really have a grading system yet. We just kind of have. So would you buy this? Worth a rent or
Can I just ask a question about the rating system? If we know they're terrible movies, why do we have a either you
Because
recommend it or you don't?
because terrible movies are subjective.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
I mean, this might be a film that you hated, but I loved.
Exactly.
That's
That's
not
true.
the case.
That is true.
But here's what I would say: if you want some white noise on at a Halloween party and just something on the TV, sure. But other than that, I'd avoid it.
But
I'd look for those animated movies before I'd look for the.
if you need white noise, that's what music's for. Just put on the
That's
Monster
true.
Mash.
On repeat.
Yeah. Seriously. And it's not even that spooky. So what I would do is, I would avoid it.
All right, avoid it. Not one of the things I said, but we'll go with it.
It's whatever.
All right, so I guess it's my turn, and Mason gave me The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension.
Okay, before people start hating me, because I know this is a cult film and it has a following, I was probably 14 when I saw this movie, and I could not get through it. I was incredibly bored, and I haven't watched it since. It was one of those rainy day movies. I think I was watching it. I had a science fiction class at the time, and we had our big project for the end of the school year, and I was just watching pretty much any science fiction.
Not doing your
film at the time.
homework. Just watching
No. I mean, I was doing research because I had to shoot my own science fiction movie. So I watched that and I hated it, and it literally made me angry, and I don't know why it did. It's just weird, and I want to try it again at some point, but I don't have the strength right now.
Okay, so I'm just going to spoil my review straight at the beginning. I love this movie. Oh
Wow.
my gosh, did I love this movie. This movie is just the epitome of everything 80s you would see in a movie. Like, it's not even the perfect bad movie. It's just the perfect weird 80s movie.
Yeah.
Oh
I'd
my
give you that.
gosh. It's got everyone in it. Let's see. It's got
My
RoboCop.
Yes.
It's got Peter Weller. It's got Jeff Goldblum.
Oh yeah.
It's got John Lithgow, Christopher Lloyd, Clancy Brown,
Seriously?
and yeah, even Jonathan Banks from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. He's got a cameo.
Yep.
Jonathan Banks, was he? What do I know him from?
I only know him from the two things he's doing.
Oh no, you're gonna
Car
hate me.
commercials now?
Horrible Bosses 2.
Oh, is he in that?
Yes.
Yeah, right now he just looks like an old bald guy with a really broken nose.
Like an old,
But my
Owen
goodness.
Wilson.
Sure, we can go with that.
Perfect.
I have no idea how to describe this film. So here we go. Essentially, Buckaroo Banzai travels the world because he's a brilliant physicist, but he wasn't content with just being a physicist. So he's also in a rock band called, the Hong Kong Cavaliers.
Mm-hmm.
So they travel the world doing physics, bands, and fighting crime. They do bands. That's not anyway. There so much happens in this film, and yet nothing happens. It's like they throw all this information at you, and yet none of it sticks. Like, I can't tell you what's going on. Okay, all right. So the film starts out, Buckaroo Banzai and Jeff Goldblum are operating on this brain because it is some guy, important surgery. But Buckaroo's got to go. He's got to test out in the desert. So he invites Jeff Goldblum to join his gang, or his band, and he gets out of there. He lands a helicopter, gets into this rocket car in the middle of the desert, and this rocket car looks like, when you were 8 years old building with Legos. It's just a chunky car with a rocket fin on the back with rockets, and he just starts going. And it turns out they are currently experimenting how to get to the 8th dimension. So he goes blowing through the desert as fast as he can. He shoots through a mountain, into the 8th dimension, pops out the other side of the mountain, and there's this weird alien brain underneath the car. So they jump in their bus, which is called, what is it called? It's not World War I, but it sounds like World War I. I cannot remember the name of it. Shoot, that's the thing. None of the information in this movie sticks in your head. It just kind of happens, and you just let it come at you in waves.
Except for John Big Boutte.
Yeah. No, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So apparently, John Lithgow, he's this mad doctor who's in an insane asylum because he tried to do the exact test that Buckaroo Banzai just completed, but he wasn't going fast enough. So he he got stuck in the hole to the 8th dimension. So he looked like Winnie the Pooh when he got stuck in Rabbit's hole. So they pull him out, and he goes seemingly insane. But I think what happens is one of the aliens from the 8th dimension possesses his body. So again,
yeah, that's how I understood it too.
Yeah, a lot of information, but no exposition, or lots of exposition or no information. It goes back and forth with that. So he breaks out of the insane asylum, killing Jonathan Banks, and he calls his friend John Boutte, who is played by Christopher Lloyd. And the thing I realized watching this film is you can't have John Lithgow and Christopher Lloyd in the same movie. You'll just get confused. He's like, these are two bald men that play crazy characters, and it's confusing. And it's really weird that Jonathan Lithgow is in charge of Doc Brown. Christopher Lloyd, because I just forgot his name. Split second. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, in my mind, Christopher Lloyd is the bigger actor. So I would think he would be in charge, but I guess since Back to the Future hadn't happened yet, he wasn't that big of a name.
Yeah.
And I have no clue where we are with John Lithgow and Third Rock from the Sun.
No, that was a few
years out. Nowhere near.
Okay, I didn't know. So he breaks out, and he's trying to get to his friends. So we cut back to Buckaroo Banzai. They have found this brain. Huge advancement in science. So what do? They go play a show. There they meet a girl named Penny Pretty, who is very depressed. She's about to kill herself in the middle of their show, but Buckaroo stops her, and he's intrigued by her. So they stop her from killing herself. She gets arrested because she had a gun, and they thought she was going to assassinate Buckaroo, but that wasn't the case. So, and this is all before doing anything with the science thing they just discovered. So the next day, they go pick up Jeff Goldblum, who is dressed full-on cowboy. They go to the jail and get Penny out, and we're not sure why, but Buckaroo is obsessed with her. There's something. She looks like someone. Okay. Turns out it's Buckaroo's dead wife. Somehow, in some way, Penny is a twin. It's her twin, but she was adopted, and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. It doesn't matter, but it's just there. So then they take Penny and Jeff Goldblum to this news conference where the Secretary of Defense is, and they're talking about that they've discovered the 8th dimension, that there might be aliens of some sort. Oh, and we cut to space out of nowhere and see a UFO, and there's just these weird bug people, and they call Buckaroo Banzai saying, "We are the President of the United States, you need to talk to us." And they shock Buckaroo Banzai through the phone, so now he can see the aliens that are disguised as humans, like in They Live.
Nice reference, dude.
Thank you. So he sees that there are two reporters in the conference that are aliens. Suddenly, they kidnap Buckaroo Banzai's friend. He's this old professor. He was John Lithgow's partner in the past. He helped Buckaroo, jump to the 8th dimension. So Buckaroo chases after them, and he just finds a motorcycle in an alley while they're in a... No, they say early on in the news conference, all right, we got to make this fast. There's a Harley-Davidson show coming in next. So they set up that there will be a bunch of Harleys out in the alleyway for Buckaroo to take to chase him down. So while he's chasing them, we see that the secretary really wants the car they used. I don't know if he's supposed to be a villain or if he has worked with them in the past, because he seems chummy with them, but at the same time, very against everything they do. So, and then we see a pod from what I would assume was the UFO up in space, land on Earth. Some hunters find it, and then the aliens that kidnapped the professor come to inspect it. Do you see how confusing this film is?
Yeah, I'm lost.
Yes.
Believe it or not, I am already 48 minutes into the film, but it only feels like 15. I was shocked when I saw that I was already halfway into this movie. It's so weirdly entertaining. You just have to watch.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I guess what I think is happening, and I cannot say for certain because again, a lot of information but no exposition. It looks like this alien race from the eighth dimension had some sort of race war,
Oh.
and I think the two types are either red or brown versus black. I'm not sure, but they have come to our Earth after some war on their planet, and they came when Orson Welles did his War of the Worlds.
Orson
radio
Welles is in the
broadcast.
movie?
He's not in the movie, but he's referenced. Do you know?
No,
Okay,
I
so
know what you're
back-
talking about. I just know if he like had
Right,
like a
but
little
for
walk-on cameo.
What? No. Oh, and they even say Orson Welles. No, the guy from the wine commercials.
Frozen peas. This is all my fault.
Hello, I'm Orson Welles. Yes.
It turns out his War of the Worlds radio broadcast
Mhm.
was true. They were brainwashing him to tell the story of how they came to New Jersey, but also this way they could say it was faked. I don't understand why it's here, but there it is. And they all took the name John something, so that's why we have John Big Booty or John whatever.
Man.
It's Big Boutte.
Boutte, yeah. So basically, Buckaroo Banzai saves the old professor. Then they call in, I think what they say is their Blue Jackets. And I guess Buckaroo Banzai is such a popular thing in the world. He has a fan club of just people, and they can call those people ordinary citizens to come and help them on their dangerous adventures. So this little kid and his dad happen to have a helicopter nearby. They fly in, save Buckaroo Banzai from the aliens, and goes back to headquarters.
Wow, that's immersive entertainment.
Oh my goodness. And yeah, so they basically, John Boutte, Christopher Lloyd and his guys, they go back to Buckaroo's HQ. Somehow they beat him to his HQ, even though they were in a van and Buckaroo was in a helicopter. They go in and steal the brain thing, because I guess that's what John Lithgow needs to get back to the eighth dimension, to their planet. Because I guess whoever has invaded John Lithgow's body was, and they say this, worse than Hitler.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Yeah, it's such a weird movie. But I loved it so much.
So how does it end?
All right, we can jump straight to there. Clancy Brown gets shot. Jeff Goldblum's a treat. He doesn't know how to wield a gun. So basically, an alien from the other side comes to Buckaroo and like, look, this is their plan. This is how we stop them. So
He's Jamaican, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's yeah.
Wait,
I
what?
tried to look up his. I think his John is John Gant.
Oh my.
But yeah,
this screenplay must have been a mess.
This script, it feels like this was supposed to be a season of television that they've just edited into one film.
Well, what's interesting is I actually watched a video essay last week by, his name is escaping me right now, so I do apologize. But he has a theory, well, not a theory, but he was talking about it, saying that this was supposed to be step one in this test for the very first cinematic universe.
Nuh-uh.
I mean, they even say at the end of the movie, look out for Buckaroo Banzai versus
Exactly.
the Injustice Crew. Like, they were already
Like, it
planning
had-
a sequel.
It was giving off this sense of a bigger world or an expanded universe, because it was really built off of the old serials from the 40s, which is, where some of those elements come from.
What I couldn't find, was Buckaroo Banzai a real character at one point, or was he an original creation?
He was an original creation. He was based off of a lot of pulp characters from
Right.
the 30s and 40s.
This movie feels so much like it's based off of something, but they do it so well.
Yeah, like Flash Gordon, and had a bit of the Shadow and stuff like that. Yeah.
So
Buck
okay,
Rogers.
so essentially the
Exactly.
movie ends with John Lithgow. He's built a giant spaceship so they can all go back to the eighth dimension, but Buckaroo Banzai and John Gant have gotten into his little spaceship and are following them. And there's no huge space battle. We have to figure out how to bring their ship down. It's just, what's this? Oh my gosh, it's a giant gun. And they just shoot him out of the sky. Just blows up. That's it. And that's how the
That's
movie
the
ends.
movie?
It's a little anticlimactic.
Oh my gosh, it's so anticlimactic. It's wonderful. And then they all walk in like a flood. I don't even know what it's called. They just walk through like a.
Almost like a reservoir.
Yeah, they walk through a reservoir all together as a team.
Yeah. I distinctly remember that. I was like, this was. Oh dear.
I absolutely loved it. I'd say it's certainly worth a rent. Make sure you like it. But I really want to get it on Blu-ray just for the bonus features. I want to hear all the stories of what this was supposed to be.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it. And you should totally look this film up.
There was talk for a while. I think there was an adaptation, a comic book adaptation of the sequel that it hints at towards the end.
I will go and look for that.
Huh.
Yeah.
The only thing I could find, I guess Kevin Smith is going to reboot it as a TV show.
That got canceled finally. He was supposed
Did
to.
It?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, well. And yeah, the only other thing I have to say is I'm pretty sure Matt Smith's doctor from Doctor Who stole Peter Lorre's look.
Peter Lorre's in it?
No, not Peter Lorre. Peter Weller.
Oh, shoot. Bakaru Banzai.
I knew I was going to screw up on that. I knew it.
Bakaru Banzai, it's wonderful to see you. You despise me, don't you?
Okay, all right. So, Tyler,
What film
did I give you?
Don't make me do this. Alright, I think on this show we should see who won and who lost and who got away with it. I think you won. Mason got away with it. I lost.
Oh, I know.
Not only
did
did I lose, I lost twice. Because
you went above and beyond.
I did. No, I did my homework. So I got Dougal from 2006. Which there's an elaborate history for this piece of crap that nobody saw, but here it goes. So,
all right, here. Let me set up why I gave.
Oh yeah, my bad. Go for it.
My story is so similar to yours. My Nana and Poppy always took me to go see movies. They were the ones that took me to the theater. I remember it was either Dougal or Ice Dogs, or what was it? 8 Below. I think it was 8 Below.
Ice Dogs.
Oh.
What's the one with
Snow Dogs. You're thinking of Snow Dogs.
Yeah. No. This 8 Below is the depressing version of Snow Dogs. So I knew it was either 8 Below or Dougal. And my grandparents wanted to go see. No. It was 8 Below.
Was 8 Below?
I just need to Snow. Yeah, it was 8 Below. I'm so confused of what I've said now. Yeah, my grandparents wanted to go see 8 Below. I thought, no, Dougal. I heard Butch Hartman had something to do with it. I love Fairly Odd Parents. Let's go see that. And
Wait a minute, did he?
He did.
Yeah, no.
And we'll get into that.
Yeah, that was the thing I remember from the trailer. From the mind of Butch Hartman, creator of the Fairly Odd Parents. Like, sweet, he's doing movies now? So, yeah, we saw it, and I can remember coming out of the movie theater thinking, why was that bad? Movies can't be bad. That doesn't happen. They're movies. Movies are good. And we all the way home, I can think, I can't tell them that I didn't like it. I feel so bad. And I'm pretty sure they felt the same way. Like, oh, we don't want to tell them we didn't enjoy it because we don't want them to feel guilty. I'm like, I can't tell them I didn't enjoy it because they'll feel guilty. I feel bad that I made them spend money on this. It was so bad. Go ahead, Tyler.
I hope it was going to be a longer story. All right, let's...
Nope, that was it.
Buckle up, kids. We're going to try to weed through this trek here. What we got? Okay. So, history first, because that's a thing I need to explain. So, back in the 60s in Britain, there was a stop-motion TV show called The Magic Roundabout that I saw a clip of on YouTube for context's sake, and it didn't look like anything special, but whatever. Maybe you Brits got a bit of a kick out of it. I don't know if anyone's old enough who's listening to this to even remember it, but some genius got the brilliant idea in the mid-2000s to turn it into a CGI animated feature that was okay. I mean, I didn't like it. I watched it in preparation for this review, and we'll get to the differences and things in a little bit, but it's okay. So Harvey Weinstein of the Weinstein Company, who's known for releasing a lot of critical hits like The King's Speech and some Tarantino movies, saw this and was like, this deserves an American release. And then the people working for him like, are you sure? This is what you want? He's like, yes, children will be robbed of something beautiful if they don't see this on the screen. So they're like, all right. So we just put it in the theaters, right? He's like, no, we can't have all these Brits ruining our American movie theaters. We need to recast
Our
it.
children will never be able to understand their accents.
No, such strong, thick accents coming from Judi Dench. So, what are we going to do?
We need to get our American A-listers on this.
Yeah, Kevin Smith plays a moose. Chevy Chase is a train.
What?
Jimmy Fallon is a rabbit. He's a rabbit
Oh,
that
dear.
doesn't shut up. He just keeps talking. He's like the real Jimmy Fallon.
And as we know, Tyler is a massive Jimmy Fallon fan.
You did this to me. You knew what you did.
I completely forgot that he was in this movie when I gave it to you.
Jon Stewart is wasted as the villain. Ian McKellen plays a guy. I don't remember. It's a thing. And it's about a cute little doggy, and his owner gets frozen by this Jack-in-the-Box guy or something. So he goes on an adventure with a cow, and the cow is dating a slug who's voiced by William H. Macy, and the cow is voiced by Whoopi Goldberg.
What?
And they go on this journey to try to get this thing back that I don't know what it is. I don't care. It's a gem. Whatever.
It's like an orb or something.
It's an orb.
Yeah.
It's an orb. Okay, whatever. I'll just give you the short version because, like, it's a confusing plot that I don't wish on any child to try to figure out, but it's also really simple. They need a thing to do a thing, and then they get that thing, and that thing happens, and then the movie's over. And
Okay.
there's a subplot with a Bill Hader, like, nutcracker, British guard looking guy.
He looks like Bill Hader?
No, he's voiced by Bill Hader.
Oh, I didn't know Bill Hader was a thing back then.
He was just starting on SNL, so he would have definitely wanted a bit role like that just to get some cash.
Gotcha.
But I won't waste your time with this. It's awful. It's one of the worst animated movies I've seen in a long time, and that's saying something. Because I've seen lots of garbage. But
I can even remember in the trailers, Dougal had the British voice and not whatever American
really,
accent
they were
got
that
to play him.
lazy?
Yeah, because
Wow.
Dougal sounded like a kid in the commercials, and then I didn't understand when I got in the theater. It sounded like an old man doing a high pitched voice.
Like Piglet.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Anyways, the Butch Hartman connection is he got hired to kind of do a rewrite on all the ADR dubbing, so they put more pop culture references and fart jokes in. So
I remember Jimmy Fallon references The Matrix.
Yeah, there's Lord of the Rings references. There's all sorts of terrible things. There's even a couple of head scratchers like...
Is that our culture? Is that the American culture? Just references?
Yeah, that's how you make an American kids movie. That's how you adapt one, is you just put pop culture references. Like, kids will know what this is, and if they don't, the adults will, I guess.
I don't know who to blame for this. I don't know who to blame for that.
Nobody wanted to see it. I don't know who wanted to make it. I don't know how they got all these famous people and Jimmy Fallon. I think it's more a fascinating movie than what I would recommend you go out and watch. Like, go research it if you're interested, because it's fascinating how this got brought about. Like, it's like this is gonna be a weird example. It's like Paramount releasing that Mother movie recently. It's like, you know you're gonna flop with that. You know you're not gonna make money. So why? Like, whose bright idea was it? Like, no kid's gonna want to watch this. No adult's gonna be stupid enough to take their kids to it, except for Wendy's grandparents. They're great people.
Yeah, I don't know where this movie came from or where it went.
It went to the bargain bin, and it's deep down there.
Yeah,
I found it on
I
YouTube,
bet.
so I didn't pay for it.
There you go.
Which is the bright side.
Yeah, that's certainly a bonus.
Technically, I was watching it during work, so I got paid to watch it.
I wouldn't admit that on recording, Tyler.
No, they know I watch stuff during work. It's fine.
There you go.
No one
So
from work is
there
going to
are
listen to this, but yeah.
You don't know. This could blow up, and they'd come back and hear this, and oh no.
Hey, if it, all right,
Oh, no.
it's a win-win because if this blows up and I get fired, then I can do this for a living.
I don't think anyone makes a living doing podcasts.
Oh, ye of little faith.
Oh my gosh.
That ain't happening to us, boys.
All right. So, how do we end every episode, Josh?
We end it with a palate cleanser.
Mm.
Now, we have had some disgusting movies in our mouth right now. We need something to wash it out.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the time where we recommend anything that's been positive in our lives, whether it's a movie, a TV show, books. And I'll go first. Tyler actually showed me this today. It's a YouTube series called Dinner with Don. And it's a bunch of Hollywood celebrities sitting down and having dinner with Don Rickles. And, you know, Don Rickles just passed away early in the year. And he was, I think, one of the top comedians that's ever been that no one talks about. Like, I knew him as a kid as Mr. Potato Head, but the older I got and the more into comedy, he's so wonderful. He can insult anyone and just be full of love at the same time. You can tell it's such a happy teasing. It's impeccable. And just to see him talking with people like Jimmy Kimmel, Amy Poehler, Zach Galifianakis, it's so great. And I miss him now that he's gone, but this is a cool thing to have now. How about you, Mason?
Well, actually, in the vein of my movie that I had to watch, Scooby-Doo, I have a book I would like to suggest to our listeners called Meddling Kids. And I've actually mentioned it to Lakaitis and Unity once or twice.
Nope,
and
never heard you mention any of this.
No, I had a full conversation with it about it with you.
I'm
anyway.
sure that could have happened. I just don't remember.
Meddling Kids is a novel that was released back in July of this year, and it's sort of like if you took Scooby-Doo and mashed it with Stranger Things. It takes the whole idea of Scooby-Doo and actually, does what I was talking about. It makes it grow up. It's a little more mature. It's has some mature elements.
Do they have a
and stuff.
dog? Is there a dog?
They do have a dog. It's very realistic though, and it sort of starts out with this group of kids that is basically a carbon copy almost of Mystery Inc.
Right. I mean, they're calling it Meddling Kids, so yeah.
Yeah, and it
homage.
knows. Yeah, it's definitely an homage, and it starts with their last case in 1970 something. And they solve this case with the monster was actually this guy in a suit. And then flash forward 20 odd years, it's 1991 now. They're all grown up and most of them are all washed up. One of the characters actually committed suicide even because they've slowly been realizing that wasn't the real monster. There was something else on that island, and it's time to go back and put it to rest. So
it's more Scooby-Doo meets It than
Stranger
Things.
A little bit. Yeah, there is a bit of it. I just am a huge fan of Stranger Things, so I just immediately.
Stranger Things is better than It. So.
Well, I don't know about the new one. I haven't seen the new one. I'm a scaredy cat. So, but anyway, the book itself, Meddling Kids, read it. It's a lot of fun. I'm not too far in. I'm a very slow reader, but I'm going to be catching up on during my vacation coming up. So I will be reading it on the flight.
Very nice. So, and Tyler, what would you like to recommend?
I just got into the show because I watched the Evil Dead trilogy and I loved it. And I don't know why it took me this long, but there you go. There's a new show on Starz that the third season's coming out soon called Ash versus the Evil Dead.
I'd hardly say it's new then if it's on the third season.
It's new to me, and
That's true.
It's the first show that's still on that I've just gotten into, which is rare for me because usually I catch things after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
But what you got? You got Bruce Campbell coming back after 30 years, and he's been living in a trailer, avoiding responsibility and kind of keeping the Necronomicon with him, so nothing happens. But he accidentally reads aloud from it, and then a bunch of crap happens. So he takes his guy and girl buddy from the value store he works with, and they go on a cross-country road trip to try and stop the Evil Dead, and it's great. And it's
Cool.
I got the first 20 episodes on DVD for like $20. It's just the first 2
Oh,
seasons,
nice.
so it's worth checking out. It's really gory, so if you're not into that, it's Evil Dead, so obviously
Mhm.
be aware.
Oh, yeah, and I love Bruce Campbell, so I've wanted to start watching that.
No, I think
Yeah,
you'd like
I'm
it.
curious.
I'm trying to think. I don't think there's anything in it you wouldn't you wouldn't like. I'd have to think. But no, I think you'd love it.
That's good. Yeah, no, my wife and I, when we went to our first Comic-Con, we went to a panel of his, and that was really fun.
No, he's great.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, all right, cool. I guess that's our show then.
All right.
Well, we hope
Episode
you
1.
enjoyed episode 1 of Artificial Entertainment. If you want to follow us on any social media, you can find us at ArtificialPod, or you can email us at artificialpod@gmail.com. You can ask us questions, tell us which one you like the most, or if you're Mason's mom, you can, send us compliments about the show and maybe an embarrassing story or two about Mason.
Did you say artificial
Thank you for
pot? Like oregano?
Pod, like podcast.
Ah,
There should be context clues here where you can get that.
you'd think, wouldn't you?
Yeah. And if you want to follow us, I'm at Josh Lakaitis on Twitter. Mason
I'm at good old Price.
and Tyler,
Huh?
how can people find you?
Don't. But if you need to, please call 1-800.
All right, there you go. If you need to contact Tyler, just call 1-800. All
Just
right.
keep dialing until
Uh,
someone picks up. I'll be there.
All right. This has been Artificial Entertainment. I've been Josh Lakaitis.
I've been Mason Betterly.
And I've been sleepy.
Have a great night, and God bless. Thank you.
In a world of strange derangement, thank God for artificial entertainment. Oh, we got things we're gonna watch. Just see, listen.
We'll have a real theme song soon enough. Just not right now.
Did you say derangement?
Culture Vulture. I don't know. I'm making up lyrics. Ba-da-da-da. This is where you fade out.